Just keep your head to the sky. Just keep your head to the sky. Just keep your head to the sky. Keep your head to the sky.
What is a lion without his pride? What is a whale without his pod? What is a monkey without his troop? What is a wolf without his pack? The answer is very simple. They are the same thing that a human being is without a tribe. Pray.
I am a genius. My ancestors were geniuses. My ancestors have made me a genius in all that I think, say, and do. I must declare myself a genius. I am a genius. Whenever I am myself, I practice my geniusness and do great things. All my thoughts, choices, and deeds must express my geniusness.
I am a genius. My decisions must always be in the best interest of myself, my family, my people, and my God. Only then will I and everyone I know that I am a genius.
I am a genius. At all times, my geniusness must reflect my culture. My geniusness must serve my God. My geniusness must make me be one in love and harmony with my family. My geniusness must protect my people. Yes, at all times I must demonstrate excellence because I am a genius.
Women, but the most important goddesses were black, not just for the African now, in the civilization of the Greek. The Greek was so profoundly affected by the Africans that the goddess of chastity was a black woman, Artemis. The goddess of wisdom was a black woman, Minerva. The goddess of beauty was a black woman, Diana. And many of their great mythological figures which were critical to the vision of history, the history of the Greeks in the Odyssey. The woman who draws, who has the power to draw Odysseus and all his crew into her, is Circe, who is represented as a black woman with African features on the Greek vases. The woman who helps Jason win the golden fleece is a black woman, Medea. The woman who marries Perseus, the Greek hero, is a
right, family. We're gonna be talking about sourdough today. Sourdough. Hope you join us. I hope you join us. I hope you join us. Come on. What's up, family? Wasn't supposed to do that, right? All right. So, we're going to be talking about sourdough today. Of course, I'm going to be spazzing out on some other shit, too. I don't let none go to waste. All right. I got to stop beating. All right. Lord have mercy. All right. So, y'all know that I had a vision when I was fasting that I could make a nutritious snack, bread, right? Bread used to be a staple of life. Now all of a sudden it's killing people, right? That's not cool, right? So I had to come up with some stuff. So I created a starter. I wanted to show y'all this. I got to put this back in the refrigerator so that it can chill because it's still eating because it was up here. Now I ate it all the way down and then settled down. So I'm about to put it in the refrigerator. But this is my starter right here, right? Very active. And it's all made with that ambrosia, right? Was fed, this is a full thing. I fed it. Then I used the ingredients to mix up first a loaf of bread, which I just put in the oven, and hopefully I'll be able to pull it out before we get done, and I'll be able to share and show that to y'all. But I also mixed up this, right? This has chia seed, hemp seed. It has other nuts, a mixture of nuts, raw. I sprouted them myself. Cacao or chocolate and honey. And it was mixed with that ambrosia, a cup of that ambrosia and a cup of water. Okay? Whole wheat. All right? Then I added to that recipe, I added some oatmeal to kind of come up with a bar. Like, you can see the oatmeal in there, but it has the nuts and all that. Honey, a generous amount of honey. And then from the same batch, but with less honey, I made pizza. Now, of course, it was way more than that. I tried to, I tried to keep it, but it didn't want to stay. It kept talking to me. I had to go and handle my business, right? I ain't gonna let no pizza be getting smart with me, right? Talking all gangster, right? Like it's gonna do something to me without handling my business. Pizza challenged me, and I challenged back, right? So, I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? You can't just you can't punk me, right? I ain't scared of no pizza. Ain't no pizza that I'm scared of, right? Don't be talking all fly, right? Nah, man. Right in this house. You know what I'm saying? So, I was trying to save it. Well, y'all know what I'm saying, right? All these things I was able to make using sourdough. I said, damn. Excuse me. I never did a show on sourdough. So let's talk a little bit about sourdough before I get into some of this other stuff. So, I found an article on let's get to it. All right, so we want to talk about sourdough today. Some other things I want to talk about, but I'm not. Well, I don't know. All right. So this is coming from Whole Lifestyle Nutrition. This is an article by Haley. I think her name is Haley Cotis. Alright. And it says, a healthy bread that is good for you. To consume grain or not to consume grain. So, let's go and read her adventure. There's so much debate out there on whether or not we should be consuming grains. I agree that modernized grains are most likely not good for you. Most of them are made from genetically modified grains and can damage your health. For the past year or so, I have eliminated grains from my diet. I need that break, and I slowly started to reintroduce grains back to my diet. Now, yesterday, y'all remember we spoke about how grains have been getting a bad rap. We got the genetically modified grains, then we have the ancient grains that we have been building societies up on for thousands of years, right? And the issue is that we are accepting partials of grains rather than the whole grain, right? They'll take out the germ, throw the rest away, or they'll take out this part. You know what I'm saying? We need to start dealing with the whole grain. So we won't get into that piece. Now, but one of the things she bring up is, could sourdough be the answer? If you don't have a problem digesting grains and have a healthy gut, you might want to try some sourdough bread. What is sourdough? Sourdough, according to the Bread Baker's Forum, sourdough is an American term for a natural leaven of wild or natural yeast and lactobacilli. Also, the process of leavening bread with a natural leaven. Don't mistake this with today's modernized yeast. It is not. Sourdough is created from a sourdough starter. A sourdough starter is a starter culture of wild natural yeast and lactobacilli in a medium of flour and liquid, which is propagated through ongoing refreshment or feeding for the purpose of leavening bread dough. is ongoing and is continued on from one bake or activation to the next. This one is on the second bake. A sourdough bread. A sourdough bread is a bread which has been leavened with a sourdough starter. It may or may not be a sour bread depending on the character or characteristics of the starter. A true sourdough bread. A sourdough bread is a bread that is baked without the use of modernized yeast. It is the traditional way bread was made thousands of years ago. The bread rises. The bread rises slowly, allowing the bread to ferment for several days to up to a month. This helped to promote the growth of more probiotic organisms. 10 reasons to eat sourdough bread. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Hold on. Get ready for this. Let me take a sip. Y'all don't know. This is an ambrosia smoothie. Peaches, mango, spinach, maybe some strawberries. I'm out of blueberries, and y'all see I've been getting it in. 10 reasons. The probiotic microorganisms that are created when fermenting the dough. 1. Digest and assimilate, properly absorb the foods you eat. Without adequate beneficial microflora in your gut, you cannot absorb nutrients in the foods you are eating. 2. Are necessary in order to maintain a healthy intestinal tract. We're talking about the microflora in your gut and how sourdough helps that. 3. Contains uniquely balanced proteins, fatty acids, cellulose, minerals, and innumerable other nutrients our bodies needs. 4. Provides vitamin B1 through B6 from lactobacillus and B12 vitamins from wild yeast. Wild yeast multiplies aerobically. This is because they have oxygen in them, not free radical oxygen ions that feed your blood cells and not cancer cells. Most plant proteins, including grains, seeds, cereals, beans, nuts, and some grasses, form gluten. However, sourdough microflora has all amino acids available without the protein that forms gluten. Deplete damaged starch in bread. Thus, diabetic people should not get insulin shot. It is a misconception that the whole wheat is better than white flour for diabetics. The glycemic difference is only 1%. So, produce acids which will break down and remove some of the gluten from the bread. Acids do not allow mold and most bad bacteria growth. Alkaline with high pH allows mold growth, and toxins mold ferments at a higher pH, allowing bad bacterial growth and secretion of toxins. The absence of acid is abnormal. Even animals have acid stomachs to kill bad bacteria. 7. Offset the effects of phytic acid, which robs your body of precious minerals. Phytic acid is found within the hulls of nuts, seeds, and grains. In home food preparation, techniques can reduce phytic acid in all these foods. Simply cooking the food will reduce the phytic acid to some degree. More effective methods are soaking in acid medium, lactic acid, fermentation, and sprouting. Phytic acid is a strong chelator of important minerals such as calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc, and therefore contribute to mineral deficiencies. In people whose diets rely on these foods for their mineral intake, such as those in developing countries, it also acts as an acid, chelating the vitamin niacin, which is basic, causing a condition known as pellagra. In this way, it is an anti-nutrient. For people with a particular low intake of essential minerals, especially young children and those in developing countries, this effect can be undesirable.
Probiotic lactobacilli and other species of the endogenous digestive microflora as well are an important source of enzyme phytase, which catalyzes the release of phosphates from phytite and hydrolysis. The complexes formed by phytite and metal ions or other cations, rendering them more soluble, ultimately improving and facilitating their intestinal absorption. 8. Dissolve proteins by producing protein enzymes, thus loosening multiple peptide bonds so that you can absorb more amino acids into your body. They dissolve 4 gluten-forming proteins: albumin, globulin, promelin, and glutenin. They also produce an alcohol that dissolves the most stubborn water-insoluble protein bonds. These bonds are the reason why so many people have gluten intolerance. Number 9, inhibit the growth of bad bacteria. Create a more acidic environment, producing antibacterial agents and absorbing all B vitamins from their surroundings, leaving none for the harmful bacteria. 10, have most everything needed for optimal nutritional absorption. To absorb calcium, you need magnesium. To absorb magnesium, you need vitamin E, C, etc. Most of these are in the sourdough microorganism, thus providing optimal absorption. Crazy amount of health benefits. With all these healthy benefits, you know, I am out to make a true sourdough bread that will take time. So in the meantime, I wanted to find traditional sourdough bread that was healthy and good for me, right? So she got some advice on where to buy a loaf and blah, 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 blah. And it just so happened that your brother Hatim know how to make the sourdough. And of course, I'm willing to show y'all. Y'all just got to show some interest. Listen, keep up with me as I experiment with stuff like this on, what is it? Oh, gum.co/GNJ update. I experiment with all this, right? And listen, this honey loaf, give me honey loaf. Listen, family, this is really good. And it's like you can make this at home. I mean, it's not even hard, right? But hold on. Look. Man. Look. Y'all see that? Almost done. Right? All from an inspiration while sitting, meditating, and talking to my son. I'm going to put it back in so it can finish. But yo, I want to thank y'all for joining us today. Tomorrow, I think we're going to be talking about archetypes. So get on your thinking caps, because I'm reading all this myth stuff. And we're going to talk about the archetype of the black man and black woman. All right? So, this is Brother Hatim, and I'm out.
Thank you for watching the video. I want you to subscribe. Click the bird right there, the fiery bird. And I also have a special video just for you, right there. And for those that want more information about Gianni Journey, go to our site. It should be right about there. Peace.
All right, family, we're going to be sitting up here talking about these archetypes. So come on down and let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. All right? So, see you at the show. Man, where the timer at? Where's the time? Yeah. All right. Family, I've been doing it. I'm only getting better. The bar will be here soon. All right, so now let's talk. Let's hit up these archetypes, right? But once again, I'm pulling out my man, Joseph Campbell. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, fam. I went off on a bread branch. All right. So we're talking about the archetype. Family, I have to apologize. That bread. Right. So, coming from Joseph Campbell, here with 1,000 faces, right? Now, I'm exploring the hero once again. I'm looking at the archetypes. Excuse me, ladies. Excuse me, ladies. Now, I'm exploring the archetypes, right? And the hero is a major archetype, right? Now, but this is from a chapter called The World Navel. We talk about basically the center of the world, or the axis mundi, right? The effect of the successful adventure of the hero is the unlocking and release again of the flow of life into the body of the world. The miracle of this flow may be represented in physical terms as a circulation of food substance, dynamically as a streaming of energy, or spirituality as a manifestation of grace. Such varieties of image alternate easily, representing 3 degrees of condensation of the one life force. An abundant harvest is the sign of God's grace. God's grace is the food of the soul, and the lightning bolt is the harbinger of fertilizing rain. And at the same time, the manifestation of the release energy of God, grace, food, substance, energy, these pour into the living world, and wherever they fail, life decomposes into death. So once you have a successful hero going out into the world, because once again, yesterday we kind of discussed it, the hero got to be a little bit different. The hero's mind state got to be a little bit different than the rest of the world that he's in. Right? Go on, ladies. Go on. I'm trying to get my drink now. Right? Once the hero's mind state got to be different, so that he could bring something different into the world, because the hero goes off into another realm and brings back information that helps the people. Now, this is an archetype, right? And these archetypes basically breathe life back into a culture, brings life back into a civilization, right? So I'm exploring this concept, right? Because I'm trying to build a culture. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going back to some of the stuff that I already did and looking at different things. So the concept hit me, the idea hit me. All right, all people have archetypes. All people. You know what I'm saying? It's something that they say lives in the collective unconscious of a group. And like he called his book Hero with 1,000 Faces, because when he travels all over the world, right, he finds these stories, and all these stories of the hero are similar, right? And then he studies a lot of Jung and a lot of the other psychiatrists, dude, Freud and shit. And he looking at the stuff that they discussed as well. And he pulled all this information together, and he formed a book called The Hero with 1,000 Faces. So it's basically the same hero archetype expressing itself in different cultural frameworks, right? So I said, damn, as African Americans, what are our archetypes? All right. So an archetype, also known as a universal symbol, may be a character, a theme, a symbol, or even a setting. All right. Carl Jung says Swiss psychologists argue that the root of an archetype is the collective unconscious of mankind. The phrase collective unconscious refers to experiences shared by a race or culture. This includes love, religion, death, birth, life, struggle, survival. These experiences exist in the subconscious of every individual and are recreated in literary works or in other forms of art or even in dreams, right? We go through these adventures in our dreams, like, you know what I'm saying? We go through these, these adventures rise up in us, right? And we have these archetypes to pull back on. But now what happens when a people's unconscious has been hijacked, has been hacked, right? What are the images? You know what I'm saying? What are the images that you have to draw back on? Where are the heroes, right? And what I want to do is look at some of the archetypes that have been thrust upon African Americans, Africans in America, right? So now this gets into, because I don't know if y'all remember, we talked about the mimetic process, the mimetic virus. This gets into the mimetic virus, right? Because as a people, the way we learn and the way we grow is we imitate, right? So now, what are we imitating as African Americans here, right? Stereotypes. A widely held but fixed, oversimplified image of an idea, a particular type of person or thing. The stereotypes of a woman as a career or whatever. Idealized notions for slave owners justify the system of enslavement, right? So there was certain stereotypes that was forced on us that we even began to adapt. And these stereotypes grew into archetypes for us. Excuse me, ladies. Quiet, please. All right, certain stereotypes that historically have been with us. Sambo. Y'all familiar with that one? Passive, happy, enjoy slavery. Saw himself as a child. Slave master, docile projection of the ideal slave. This ideal was popular in antebellum South, right? Coon, harmless, happy-go-lucky, hater, hates work, not a slave. Zip coon, not a slave, well-dressed dandy, uncivilized barbaric, used sophisticated words incorrectly. The brute. After slavery ended, during Reconstruction, the vision of the black male changed. He is now a brute, violent, sexualized black male, no self-control. These are images that were forced upon us through media, right? Because right now we're living in a time where archetypes can be forced, right? Because we got the printed word. We got education systems where you have to go, you have to deal with the printed word. We have mediums such as TV and stuff that can be, things could be streamed, radio shows where shit can be streamed at people, right? And this becomes part of the collective unconscious, right? So the brute. For the woman, mammy, compliant, part of the family, motherly, but not sexually typical, a large-bodied woman, sapphire. Physically, embodiment of maleness in black women, dominant, the black male, and sexless. Jezebel, hypersexual black woman, the seductress, has power only in sex. She can't be raped. Meant to explain sexual violence from, you know who, right? Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is this, right? Now, because the archetypes help lead a culture, help lead a people out of bad situations. Now, the hero arises and takes, and basically when a hero goes on an adventure, he brings back a regenerating force that brings the people back to life. But when you cut the people off from heroes, family, when you cut the people off from heroes, right? And you replace the heroes with pimps. You replace the heroes with brutes. You replace the heroes with sapphires and shit like that, right? These individuals can no longer regenerate the energy that the people need. This energy is not just it's emotional. It's a life-bringing force that the hero brings back. But once you hijack this and you destroy this, what you do is you leave people with an empty shell, and you leave them with something that can't be regenerated. Matter of fact, it only regenerates death. It brings death to the people. It brings disintegration to the culture. Alright? But yo, I'm gonna keep this one short, family. I want to thank you for joining me. I'm about to get up out of here. And I'll see you on the Moja. Peace. Thank you for watching the video. I want you to subscribe. Click the bird right there, the fiery bird. And I also have a special video just for you, right there. And for those that want more information about Gianni Journey, go to our site. It should be right about there. Peace. Oh, what's up, fam? Yo, make sure y'all get with us today. I did a real short one yesterday. I'm trying to make them quick nowadays, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying, I'm working on it. But now, we're going to finish talking about this archetype. Now let's talk about the advent of the new hero. Yeah. All right. Y'all see I'm drinking a different juice than this morning. Listen, this little bullet or whatever it is one of the best inventions ever. This is a peach ambrosia base with peach and berry. Man, join the show. And make sure you subscribe. God damn it. Love you. Peace. All right, peace, fam. So we're gonna continue talking about the archetype. I had to rush yesterday, right? I had to rush away yesterday because I went to this thing called Divine Conversations. One of the things that I'm doing now is I'm linking back up with the village in Columbus. Now I've been I guess a renegade for years, you know. So I'm going home, right? So I decided that I was going to start plugging back in to the elders from which I was basically born, as far as consciously, right? In Columbus, there have been several conscious collectives over the years, First, it was the Afrocentric rites of passage, and that turned into something else, and then eventually it went to the Tawi village, right? And one of the things that I've been watching them from a distance for a while. Was gonna get involved at one point in time, changed my mind, but this time, I'm throwing my hat in now, right? Because the PC is one, they're handling the business of the whole culture piece, and I call myself a culture builder, and I'm plugging back in. So I'm going through that to say, thanks to, actually, it's like this brother by the name of Kwame, tune in to the Daily Toast every day, at least on the Facebook piece. And I want to send shouts out to him because it's like he immediately jumped on the ambrosia piece. He started getting he got his own brand of ambrosia with the black seed, and he was one of the first ones to start buying that ambrosia after I started talking about it. And he started inviting me to stuff like on Kuumba. He indirectly invited me to an event that was basically sponsored in a sense by Tawi Village. And I went there and I'm like, boom, they're talking about the same shit I'm talking about. So I got this thing called the 7 EEC Principles and Values. And I'm looking at it, and it's a chart, just like the chart that I created for the calendar. But they have Wolof, they have Akan, they got ancient Kemet, they got traditional Yoruba, and they got the contemporary African Americans. So today not only will be a day of unity, a day of truth, the Ma'atic principle, but also in Wolof it will be called Taranga, a sense of hospitality. Akan, it would also be truth. And of course, in the ancient Ma'atic sense, the 7 cardinal virtues of Ma'at, truth. In traditional Yoruba, will be Suru, patience. And of course, it'll be Emoja, right? So we're going to start adding these to the days. I'm going to add these to the calendar as well. Powerful piece, right? You know what I'm saying? We need to grow. I fell behind, family. I didn't do anything yesterday. I got up, I bottled, I went to Divine Conversations. I'm gonna log that in. I'm gonna log that in. I didn't do the breath, I didn't do the exercises, I just chilled. My body is still adjusting. I had a real big meal yesterday, right? But I'm still dealing with some of the issues. And like I said, I don't know whether it's the accident or, I know I didn't totally break the fast, right? But this has been, it's been 7 days. So, it's getting better, I guess. I can't complain, right? But I also decided that, hell, this is going to be what I basically structure all of my conversations off with the show, because, I could pre-write this, right? But anyway, so once again, real good stories, folk tales. I'm getting more books on folk tales, proverb books. I send all this stuff out to those people that are the Guza Saba Challenge, and I challenge you to take the Guza Saba Challenge, right? Because we could take this whole piece to a whole nother level. But right now, we're dealing with the Hero of the Thousand Faces. Yesterday, I want to reiterate something that I found. What is this? Oh, okay. Something that I found. All right, so yesterday I read to y'all the World Naval, right? The effect of successful adventure of the hero is the unlocking and releasing again of the flow of life into the body of the world. So the hero, now I need you to understand this, because we're going to talk about the archetype of the hero. It's important that when you're conquering a culture that you destroy the whole idea of the hero, right? You destroy, because the hero is the cultural manifestation. It's like if culture is God, the hero is the sun. You understand what I'm saying? The hero is the rising and the setting sun, or the hero is the son of the culture, right? That sacrifices, and through the sacrifice of the son or the hero, the whole universe, the whole life of the culture is reinvigorated. The effect of the successful eventual the hero is the unlocking and the release again of the flow of life into the body of the world, right? So now, for ancient cultures, their world was their culture. You know what I'm saying? The culture was their world, right? And the hero breathed life back into this because he went into a different realm and brought back information that culture can use to advance itself. Whether it was the adventure going into a different part of the land that at one point in time was called Hunted, or the Hunted Woods and shit, and he went in there and he conquered that shit. So now people are more confident because let's look at how the human being works. Once the human being find out that something is possible, we take it to another level. For example, when you look at the 4-minute mile, we all heard those of us that's involved with the whole self-improvement movement, all of us hear the story of the 4-minute mile, but I don't think we really register the power of that. Until the 4-minute mile was broken, right? Nobody could do it. But when one person showed that the 4-minute mile could be broken, that shit became normal. Those of you that's old enough to remember Mike Tyson was a beast, right? Nobody could beat Mike Tyson. Nobody. Until Buster Douglas beat him, and then Mike Tyson got whooped on a regular basis, right? Because it's like a lot of times when humans face something that's impossible to pass, when one person does it, that gives everybody else, in a sense, permission to find the energy to do it. And this is what the hero does for a culture. When a hero gives the people permission, because look, I'm just like you in a sense. I come from what you came from. You know what I'm saying? I'm cut from what you cut from. So if I can do it, you have permission. The hero gives permission. So if you want to destroy a culture, you destroy the hero. You destroy the very image of the hero. So if the hero is a young man, you find a way to destroy the young man. If the hero is a woman, you find a way to destroy the woman in the culture, right? You destroy it, right? You destroy the mythology and you replace it with a captive or a slave mythology, right? You give them your mythology so that they could follow your rule, follow your expectations, follow your things, because the whole piece is they could never be your hero. They could look at your hero, they could worship your hero, but they will never be able to be your hero. Why? Because your hero comes from your culture. And because he comes from your culture, he does not give anybody else outside the culture permission. Even if he say he's universal. The universal shit is a trap. It's a lie. Right? So it's important that when we're looking at this whole piece about the archetype, right? We start resurrecting some of these and we start looking at what's been given to us, right? What's been created for us. You know what I'm saying? Because these archetypes become default programs that operate in our minds, right? And some of them, like, sometimes we got to let old programs, that the program is no longer working, it's no longer compatible with the information, is no longer compatible with the hardware. The hardware has shifted. There's no room for a sample. There's no room for a coon. No matter how much you update them, there's no room. Why? Because those figures help maintain a system of supremacy over us. It makes us feel less than, right? And it gives us a role that we can act within this society. Now it's time for us to start resurrecting the heroes. So now what's going on right now? One of the things that's real big right now is that they are bringing out the Black Panther movie. Now, this is a double-edged sword because it cut two ways, right? The Black Panther movie is an excellent opportunity for us to really start exploring the idea of cultural heroes, right? Because not only is the Black Panther a powerful symbol. Now, and I'm gonna tell you where things could really go wrong with this. See, now in the Marvel universe, if you look at the Black Panther, right? The Black Panther is a hero of incredible proportions, right? Not only is he black, but he's the richest hero. Like, Tony Stark be buying shit, but Tony Stark's money ain't shit compared to what the Black Panther as the king of Wakanda has, right? Wakanda is a mythic nation. It's the most advanced nation, right? Now I'm gonna tell y'all where this could go drastically wrong, right? So now we have the Black Panther who's coming on screen. We got a movie with all these black characters, and hopefully they're going to be able to represent the culture. Now, not only is the culture powerful, but the culture flows from the Egyptian culture through the deity called Bast. So there's a lot of positive things that we could pick up from this, and we could learn from this, right? Boom. But this is where it could go drastically wrong because it's a property of Disney now. I think Marvel's controlled by Disney. It's property of Disney Studios. Now, they could tear this up. I mean, it could come out and this thing could be marvelous. And then they could destroy Black Panther because Black Panther is their property. So now what this gives us more, not even permission, because we already did. In GNJMedia, we already did it. In GNJMedia, we already got our mythic hero. It's called G, right? G comes from culture, but he comes from, he got his training in a mythic society or a mythic group called the Nyame people or God people, right? Period. So we got a whole mythic piece, right? But now this gives other of you out there just the permission, the power to start creating our black heroes, because we have to start structuring and framing these heroes for the modern times, right? Black Panther has a techno jungle, right? You know what I'm saying? People, when they want to try to and get into Wakanda, they have to go through this techno jungle. Now, this is what the power of this is, because these mythic tales, these fairy tales work on the subconscious. We want stories like this to work on our children's subconscious. We want to give them characters that they can see, that look like them, that come from situations like them, overcoming and bringing something back to the people, right? Because right now, my generation, we was trained to get information and to stay out, not really even to come back. We just go. You know what I'm saying? But now we got to start training our young heroes to go out and bring life back to the community, right? To bring the son back, to bring the daughter back, to bring bring your shine back, so that you can bring life back to the people, right? Because the whole story of the hero is the coming, is the going and the returning, and the going and the returning. In the going, the hero is going to retrieve something. And in the coming, the hero brings something back that is very valuable to the people, and his life, and his energy, and his food, and his grace. You know, we take advantage of grace and shit like that, right? So, family, now, when we're looking at the hero, and we have to understand, this is why it's important for this culture that we are involved in, this West Asian culture, to replace our heroes with pimps and brutes and thugs and gangsters, right? See, because if you want to see this shit really working, because like a lot of times we look at Africa, I want y'all to look at Africa, look at African leadership. What myths are they following? Let's look at some of the leadership. Look at the myths they following. What tales were they raised up on? Were they raised up on tales about African heroes, or were they raised up on tales about European heroes? Because you could tell who they're serving. You can tell by who they're serving, right? I'm just look at some of the thugs in their neighborhoods. Who are the heroes they grew up looking at? Who they emulating? So if we want our young people to act differently, we got to give them different things to focus on. The hero gave young people things to focus on. Young heroines gave the young women something to focus on. So if we want to grow our people beyond where we are right now, we got to give them something they could feast on. And get that feast on for real. Not on this bullshit. I just get caught up in bullshit. There's so much bullshit out here for us to get caught up on. So, I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. But I'm gonna say, hey fam, thank you for taking the time to tune in. Watching this for the first time, make sure you subscribe. Alright? Like, share, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? And get some of that ambrosia. Gum, GUM.co/that ambrosia. Right here. I'm put it right there. Peace. Thank you for watching the video. I want you to subscribe. Click the bird right there, the fiery bird. And I also have a special video just for you, right there. And for those that want more information about Gianni Journey, go to our site. It should be right about there. Peace. Oh man, we taking eating like a boss to a whole nother level. Look at this. Talking about controlling the food supply. Yeah, we're gonna be eating on some of this tomorrow, family. I just wanted to show y'all because I already cut mine, so I had to come and pull on one of the other ones I cut. Some of the vegetables, so we're gonna be eating now, and I have to break the fast tomorrow. All right. Eating like a boss, family. Eating like a boss. See that salad? All those greens in there. The egg fermented. The beet. The cabbage. We about to get busy. Then we're going to have our conversation. Oh, don't forget the smoothie.
Mr. Diddy.
Alright, fam. So, y'all see me trying to take this eating like a boss to another level. So, for those that don't understand, right, the salad that was in the middle of the plate came directly from my school, right? I mean, it's like we have a stand-up garden, and I got to go and I got to prune a lot of the vegetables that was like different types of lettuce, some greens, some herbs that I got to directly go and pick from the garden. And I got to really eat like a boss. Now the next level is finding somebody in my circle with eggs, because I like eggs, and with chickens, so that I could go and actually make me some fermented eggs, or make me an egg breakfast with eggs from somebody within our circle. All right. So before we get started, what I want to share with you is I had to feed my sourdough starter last night, and I wanted to let y'all know that this part of the experiment is progressing. Somebody inquired about the experimental SCOBY, and she is still alive. She's still kicking. I just haven't started brewing with her yet. I'm letting her get strong, and I'm thinking maybe within the next 2 brew cycles. I want to give her just a little bit more time, because I've been feeding her ambrosia. She begin a little bit thicker, and I eventually am going to have an experimental batch come from her. All right, but I just want to let y'all know that we still working on the sourdough this week, because I wanted to get it started early. This week I'm going to do another pizza, because the pizza was, oh my God. I'm going to take out some of the honey, but the pizza was ridiculous. I'm going to perfect the bread, but then I'm going to make a peanut butter bar. Peanut butter with the, I'm going to keep the, this time I'm going to put the oatmeal in a little bit earlier, so the oatmeal can soak up a little bit more of the moisture as it ferments. The chia seeds gonna stay in there, of course. The hemp seeds gonna stay in there. Cranberry, raisin, but I'm adding peanut butter, and I'm gonna cut down. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna cut down on the honey, but I'm gonna put the honey in there, and we're gonna see what we could do. All right. So that's the next step for that. All right. So I'm gonna go let this sit out for the rest of the day, and I'm gonna put it back in her container, and I might make the doughs tonight and let them ferment until Nia, and put them in the oven on Nia, and do it like that. Maybe Kalumba, I don't know. Maybe let them sit for 2 days. But we're still working on getting the process together. So today we're talking about being committed. So I had to look up the word, because a lot of times people confuse committed and crazy. And it's usually the ordinary person. And what do I mean? What do you mean by ordinary people, Brother Hatim? I mean like people that strive to live like everybody else, right? So I had to take some time to look up this word, commitment. I sent it to myself this morning, But no, dictionary.com is going to just send me dictionary.com. I hate that. I mean, so hold on. Autarky. All right, I wanted to share this with you. The condition of a self-sufficient, especially economic as applied to a nation. Autarky. We need some of that in our community. All right, the word that we're looking up is commit, because commitment is the root of commitment. All right, commit. Why I want to speak? Commit, a verb used with object. Committed, committing. To give, entrust, or charge. Consign. To consign for preservation. That's number 2. To pledge oneself to a position on an issue or question. Express one's intentions, feelings, etc. To blind or obligate as by pledge or assurance. Pledge. To entrust, especially for safekeeping, commend. To do, perform, perpetrate. To consign to custody. All right. So now let's go on and look at some of the. I want to look at the root word origin. All right. Middle English, committing, Anglo, Latin, commit, equivalent to committary, to send, come with, mittery, to send, give over. I don't like this. How is it that you can have this big ass tablet not be as accurate as the phone? My God. So, committary, to send, with, to send. Com means like with. All right. Mittery is to give over. Right. So when you commit, you give yourself over. You know what I'm saying? You become one with. Right. When you commit to something, right? And a lot of people don't understand that because they're not used to giving themselves to something, right? They're not used to surrendering themselves to something. They don't understand. So when you're trying to explain what you're doing to them, they can't understand. They don't understand, as I was showing you a book, The Vow-Powered Life. They don't understand commitment, the vow. They don't understand what it means to vow, to do something, to pledge, to do something, to give yourself to something. They're not used to it, right? They're not even used to giving themselves to themselves. They don't cut off on me again. I'm trying not to break this shit. It's getting to a point where I'm going to break this phone. The phone keep playing with me. So they don't understand the vow-powered life. Right? So when you give yourself to something, they don't understand it, family. They view you as crazy. Wow, you're going to fast for 21 days. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? What you that committed to? You know what I'm saying? Because right nowadays, you're not supposed to be that committed to anything but your job, but your master. You're not supposed to be committed to anything. You know what I'm saying? If your job requires you to fast for 21 days, everybody would understand it because you're going to get paid for it. Right? But when you vow yourself to something that is beyond a material reward, immediate award, when you vow or you give and you commit yourself to something that's bigger than you, people can't understand it. It scares people. Why? Because they are not capable of of doing it. So it's something wrong with it, right? It's something not right about it. Now, when you start giving out, I want y'all to think about this. When you start giving yourself to a people that everybody already done counted out, they really think you crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm giving myself to black folks right here in America, right? Y'all already lost. This is all, you might as well go on to surrender. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else done surrender. You might as well just give up, Brother Hatim. It's stupid. Why you keep pushing? You know what I'm saying? Why? You know what I'm saying? You fast and people don't care. You know what I'm saying? But it's some of y'all that do, right? And even if some of y'all didn't, I did it to make myself better, right? So I'm looking at stories of natural, like stories in here, natural born heroes. And you start looking at the stories of heroes, and they were, in a sense, the misfits in society. They were the fatherless children in society. They were the forgotten people in society, right? They come from a place of nothing and push and bring back gifts to the people. Sometimes they will be lifted up, other times they will be forgotten. But these are individuals who are able to commit themselves, even if it meant their life, even if it meant their death. They were able to commit themselves. So you look at stories from like this natural born heroes, or you look at Hero with 1,000 Faces, and you look at the point of these heroes will go into worlds where they knew that the possibilities of them even being able to come back from it was totally impossible. But they still committed themselves. Right? Commitment or crazy. See, family, you got to stop being concerned about how other people see you, especially those people who really don't want to understand. They don't want to understand. They've been programmed to hold you back. It's sort of like in the Matrix, where they tell Neo, they say, Neo, don't go into crowded places, because the agents could pop up on anybody in the Matrix. They could jump right into anybody in the Matrix. Right? And that's just how it is with you. Because it's like, black folks, a lot of times we used to talk about agents in the community. Right? Well, you don't really have to have agents in the community no more. You don't need to hire nobody no more. People have been programmed so that at any given time, Agent Smith could pop up right next to you. Motherfucker you thought you was cool with, all of a sudden they morph into Agent Smith. Right? So then I look at the stories from Plutarch's Parallel Lives, right? And I'm going through this, and I'm seeing individuals who had to be, in a sense, people looked at them as if they were crazy, right? Not really realizing commitment. I'm living my vow that I made to myself. I'm living my vow. A lot of people don't understand that, family. And they can't understand it. Right? Because honor, loyalty, and sacrifice are not primary in this culture anymore. Especially when it's loyalty, honor, and sacrifice to you and your people. It's not understood. And last but not least, I want y'all to think about this. Right? We got a black woman with a sleeping problem who felt that she was supposed to be free. There was a different way of life when all around her there was no evidence that there was a different part of life. There was stories. You know what I'm saying? But there was also stories about boogeymen and things hiding up under the bed and sea monsters and shit. But this woman, was she committed or was she crazy? 19 trips. 19 trips. And then on top of that, when the Civil War happened, she was a master spy. Committed or crazy? Family, you got to make a decision, right? And a lot of times when you make that decision, most people in your life are not even going to understand. And they are going to line up against you, it seems like sometimes. They're going to challenge you. They're going to argue with you. They're going to talk about you. They're going to doubt you. But the question is, do you have the heart to be committed to you? Like, for example, like the 21-day challenge. Like people say, brother, I tried. And that's all I'm asking. You know what I'm saying? Because it starts with a try. But then eventually, after you try so many times, eventually you're going to be like, I can do this shit and get committed. And you're going to understand that it goes beyond just changing the names of the days. Right? I need to get over a tobacco habit. I use the 21-day challenge to help me with that. I use the 21-day challenge to help me get through a fast. I'm using the 21-day challenge to help me get through books. I'm using the 21-day challenge. I'm gonna use the 21-day challenge to help some of the young people that I'm gonna be working with during the school year. You know what I'm saying? Why not give them a 21-day period to master one skill? Why not give yourself a 21-day challenge to master one skill? Commit yourself to 21 days of trying to change one thing in your life, trying to change one habit in your life. Commit to you. And what happens is when you commit to you, you start finding out that by you truly committing to you, to making you better, you make everybody else around you better. Either they're going to start getting better or they're going to get from around you. They're going to leave you alone. They're going to move away because you're too spooky. Family, I'm telling you, this is some real stuff. We building here, right? We're not playing. Ain't no games being played here. As a matter of fact, I'm about to get off here right now, and I'm about to go on and mix up this dough. All right? So we about to bread it up, y'all. We about to bread it up. All right? So this is Brother Tim, and I am out. Peace. Thank you for watching the video. I want you to subscribe. Click the bird right there, the fiery bird. And I also have a special video just for you, right there. And for those that want more information about Gianni Journey, go to our site. It should be right about there. Peace. All right, fam. Make sure you join me today because we're going to be eating like a boss, right? Eating like a boss. And we're going to have a nice little conversation. We're going to keep it short, though. I'm at a loss of words. I don't even know what to talk about. But hey, I want to share the plate. And I did make the bread, like I told y'all. So tune in so you can check it out. And we're going to have a nice little conversation. All right? Peace. fam. I don't know what goes on with this camera, man. Hold on. One minute to show one thing, then the next minute won't show what it's supposed to show. Alright, I'm gonna take one more sip. Alright, so of course y'all know we eating like a boss. I'm gonna speed this up, so y'all don't have to be tortured as I go through what I'm eating. But I wanted to share the bread because I told you I was gonna make bread. So, you know, one of the things I got into over the fast was some bacon because I figured we can make us a little treat. As you see, it ain't make it all the way through the night. I gotta go give my mom a sample. But this one, instead of the chocolate, I put peanut butter. It's still the sourdough. I let it ferment for about 12 hours. That's all I could stand. I use a cup of honey. I have raisins and cranberries in it, and chia seeds. I couldn't find my hemp seeds, and I basically use a basic cookie dough type recipe, right? If I only let it sit for 12 hours. I have the bread that I am going to be eating on in the next couple of days. It's still fermenting, so it's going on 24 hours now that I'm allowing it. 24 hours. I probably will let it go. I'm gonna go and knead it a little bit more to kind of get the air back up in it, to let it soften up. But this is what the bread look like. Of course, I got the fermented stuff, and then also I had a salad, and I need y'all to know, you know, why I'm doing the salad so much right now. Because first off, it was available at the school, and something that we can grow, right, real easy at the school, and we're doing it. So I'm like, man, this taking eating like a boss to a whole nother level. And I know y'all like, brother, how Timmy, you said that yesterday. But y'all got to understand how proud I am to be part of a place that is tackling a major issue. What's the major issue? If you go to any of our communities around the country, a lot of black folks live in a food desert. And one of the things that at my school, I could probably say that we're going to be able to tackle is that if we do this gardening thing right, we could tackle food deserts around where we live. Now, right here, I made a sauce, salad dressing, and it's basically miso soup, palm oil, Bragg's aminos, and some Death Eater vinegar. Okay, so this is my first time trying it like this, and I'm gonna speed it up so that y'all don't have to go and sit through while I'm sitting up here eating, because Miss Vern Love told me she couldn't understand me when I'm eating, and I understand, because I can't understand me either. All right, so let's go eat, then we're gonna get to our discussion. Now, what I really like about that whole eating like a boss piece, it gives me an opportunity to play some of the music that is made by some of my family members, right? But one day I'm gonna be able to do one of those segments, and everything on the plate will be, in a sense, grown by myself or somebody I know. The eggs that I eat come from somebody that I know, somebody in our circle. And what I'm trying to do is to get us to really start expanding who we are. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, there are black farmers. There are farmers in your circle. There are gardeners in your circle. all you have to do is look around your circle and really start pulling the best from everybody, right? You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I said, as you start pouring libations, as you start pouring or doing the toast with us, right? You'll start realizing, or you'll start attracting what you need into your life. Would you believe this shit cut off on me again? I mean, I ate a full almost 10 minutes. Nothing, right? So, so here we go. All right. So, yesterday, kind of got off into the hero piece. Brother Kwame got me started off on the hero piece again today, right? And so what I want to do is I want to share what I did with those of you that are on the Musaba Challenge. I updated the calendar, right? And I kind of personalized it for myself. And I'm sending adjustable PDFs. I'm sending JPEGs to everybody that's on the Musaba Challenge. But those of you that want to adjust the calendar for yourself, because on here I have my fast days, because those of you know I'm fasting on self-determination Kuji Chagalia, because that's the day I was born. I fast on those days, right? And then also we got the eclipse coming up, so I got a fast set for the eclipse, the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, right? Because the 22nd is Kuji Chagalia, so I'll be fasting until 9 p.m. on that day anyway, right? So it'll be a 3-day fast. But the point that I'm making is that you can personalize these so that you can start initiating yourself. Like I said, I love the term that Odin used, or Wednesday, or Wooten. I sacrifice myself unto myself, right? And a lot of us, we have to really start getting into some of these motifs and start using some of these dope lines that these heroes and that these deities have, because these lines remind us about who we are, and they help align us with who we are, right? And we have to, like I said, work on sacrificing ourselves unto ourselves. We got to sacrifice our habits unto ourselves. And if you don't feel that you're important enough to do it, sacrifice your habits for your children's sake, or sacrifice your habits, the bad habits, for your people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, make it big. If you don't feel that you're important enough, you know what I'm saying, then make it bigger than you, right? Make it bigger than you. You can do that. You have the right to do that, right? Set yourself apart, right? Make yourself different. See, because listen, a lot of us spend so much time trying to fit in, right? We spend our whole lives trying to fit into a world that when you finish the race, you start to figure out that rather than running ahead of the pack, you're running with the pack. And unfortunately, in most cases, the pack don't even know where it want to go, right? So I'm doing studying yesterday, and I run into this video where they're talking about the sense of excellence. You know, everybody talk about excellence, right? And basically, the rundown was that this whole concept of excellence come from a sense of professionalism, which comes from a sense of how you're supposed to act, right? So to be excellent in a society of mediocre people means that you are excellently mediocre, right? When it's actually the people that are outside of that excellence that are the ones that drive change. If we look in our society, We look at the entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs didn't fit into the models of business that existed. The entrepreneurs didn't fit. They don't fit. A lot of them didn't fit into the school structures as they stand. A lot of the innovators, a lot of the creators, a lot of people that we look up to never fit into the sense of excellence that everybody is talking about. When your boss is talking about a sense of excellence, what your boss is talking about is you adhering to the culture and making that company more money, not you becoming a better person. Right? So the whole sense of excellence is another cage that has been erected, a mental cage that has been erected for us that gets us to, which is needed sometimes, but it is the quirks of the hero that advances civilization, that advances people, right? If Harriet Tubman had practiced a sense of excellence, that would have been 19 trips that our people would have never had. Because the sense of excellence for her was to make sure that rather than the gun, that she was holding a broom and in somebody's house sweeping and cleaning, and sometimes being raped. Excellent. That was the sense of excellence for a slave. That was the idea of excellence. But she was able to seek beyond what was laid out for her. Right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, when we look at heroes, if we really look at heroes, I want y'all to just put yourself in the place of being a psychologist and looking at a young Heru or a young Hercules, right? Or a young Thor or a young Shango or you know what I'm saying? You just look at some of these cultural deities and some of these cultural people, some of these people some of these heroes, and I want you to sit down and I want you to imagine what diagnosis a lot of these kids will receive. Would they be getting ADD, emotionally dysfunctional, defiant, ADHD? You understand? You know what I'm saying? Because it is those people, those type of individuals that usually move the bar up for society. Everybody that's sitting in a sense of excellence, right? And operating within the framework that's been given to us, right? Don't advance. Don't advance. Right? So, one of the things that I was looking at on this list is the 7 EEC principles and values. And for those that don't know, EEC stands for Emotional Emancipation Circles. This is, let me read it. The emotional emancipation circles are guided by a set of core values and principles consistent with our rich history as people of African ancestry. These principles are truth, justice, respect, harmony, balance, reciprocity, and order. They derive from the earliest collection of ethical guidelines and are collectively referred to as Mayat, the endless search for truth and justice. Obinga suggests that Mayat is a multifaceted, complex concept that includes a harmonious balance, seeks just treatment of the oppressed, and codify a set of rules for appropriate conduct. The principles embodied in Mayat, established in ancient Kemet, are also found in other parts of Africa as illustrated in the table below. As we do the work within the EEC, we strive to do so within the context of and guided by these values and principles. Now, this lines up with the days of the week, in most cases, with the days of the week, but it adds Wolof, it adds Akan values. We got Akan names. We don't got the common values that line up. And it also has traditional Yoruba attributes of good character, right, are lined up with it. So we will be going through these when I'm able to find them, because you know if I lay them here, I won't be able to find them. So, but the point, like for example, one of the things that kind of troubled me, and I got to talk with my elders about this, is give me a second. Propriety. So on the in the Kemetic, or the principles of Mayat, they call them 7 cardinal virtues of Mayat. We say truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, balance, order, harmony. I did it wrong. Truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, balance, order. Now we step in harmony. 7, right? 7. So that's the order we got. But one of the words that they replace here, they have a different order than we have. And then they got the term propriety, right? So let's look up propriety real quick. All right. I want y'all to check this out, because this is something important that all of us, we should always be doing. We should always be questioning. We should always be asking. Propriety. What is the definition of propriety?
Propriety, the state or quality of conforming to conventionally accepted standards of behavior or morals.
Propriety, the state or quality of conforming to conventional accepted standards of behaviors or morals, right? So it's like respecting tradition, conforming to tradition, and I have a problem with this being in laws of Mayat, especially today, because if we conform to the basic standards that are expected of us in this country, then we will always be slaves. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we got to be able to ask questions. So what do you mean by propriety? So I'm looking down deeper into it. Details or rules of behavior conventionally considered to be correct. So, you know, operate correctly. So how do we teach young people to operate correctly in a society where they operate correctly? All the rewards they will receive is dust, right? Because we have always extended our principles to include everybody and everything, and I think for a little while we might need to just go on and ratchet some of that back and start really focusing on we. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna have a sense of propriety, we need to have it with ourselves. And if we're gonna have a sense of propriety, we need to also make sure that our young people know that sometimes tradition, as beautiful as it can be, can also become a trap. Can also become, as me and brother Kwame was talking about, a shadow that can hinder our growth. Is a shadow that sometimes we might need to bathe in the sun to allow to fade so that we can see the new path. All right, so I won't keep y'all in too much longer. I just wanted to, you know, just do my morning thing with y'all. You know, I'm just gonna call this a conversation because we ain't really cover nothing specific. You know what I'm saying? Because this is how this started. This started with me just in a sense talking with y'all about the principles, right? And then it just grew into what it's become. And I want to thank all of y'all for tuning in and taking the time to check us out. So this is Brother Atil Mama. Thank you for watching the video. I want you to subscribe. Click the bird right there, the fiery bird. And I also have a special video just for you. there. And for those that want more information about Gianni Journey, go to our site. It should be right about there. Peace. All right, peace, fam. Thank you for joining us. You see I'm sipping on the ambrosia smoothie. Don't know which one I like best. Make sure you tune in today. We're going to be talking about some principles of sustainable living, right? The sustainable revolution. So we're going to look at some of that, all right? See you in a second. Peace. Oh, you caught me. Hold on. All right. So, we up now. Oh, good grief. Modern technology is perfect. It's beautiful when it's working, right? All right. So, I make this announcement real quick. Injected racial scripts. We got Brother Wakesa coming in town on August the 11th. It's going to be a dynamic workshop. Make sure y'all there. Of course, y'all know I'm going to post this up on, I'm just going to pop up somewhere right around here so that y'all can see this, all right? So make sure you're in the place. I'm going to be big up in it all the way up until then. We got to keep it moving, keep the training going, family, right? So, y'all know, some of y'all heard my little vision about the whole farming piece, you know what I'm saying? Y'all seen me eating the greens and stuff, right? So I'm going to the library, I'm looking up stuff. So one of the books that I picked up that's so good so far, I mean, y'all see all the other books I'm reading, right? But this one's called Good Food Revolution, right? And this is about a dude by the name of Will Allen, the CEO of Growing Power, that took a lot outside of Milwaukee, or somewhere in Milwaukee, and turned it into a sustainable, sustainable garden. It's a pioneer urban farmer and MacArthur Genius Award winner, shares the story of his grassroots movement that is changing the way our nation eats. The son of a sharecropper, Will Allen had no intention of ever becoming a farmer himself, but after years in professional basketball and an executive for KFC and Procter & Gamble, Will Allen cashed in his retirement fund for a 2-acre plot a half-mile away from Milwaukee's largest public housing project. The area was a food desert with only convenience stores and fast food restaurants to serve the needs of local residents. In the face of financial challenges, and darting all odds, Allen built the country's preeminent urban farm, a food and educational center that now produces enough vegetables and fish year-round to feed thousands of people, employing young people from neighboring housing project and community. Allen's organizations, Growing Power, has sought to prove how local food systems can help trouble youth, dismantle racism, create jobs, bring urban and rural communities closer together, and improve public health. Today, Growing Power helps develop community food systems across the country. So, those of you that be like, brother, I you can't watch. Watch, goddammit. Because I believe in research. If I didn't learn nothing else at Ohio State, goddammit, I learned how to use the library, right? Where all the lies are buried. So now, what we coming from today is this thing called sustainable revolution. Or if you block out the R's, sustainable evolution, right? Urban gardeners, seed-saving collectives, intentional communities, renewable energy innovators, and proponents of gift economies. How are these seemingly desperate groups connected? Based on common ethics of sustainable cultures throughout history, the ecological design system of permaculture is the common thread that weaves them into a powerful, potentially revolutionary or evolutionary movement. Sustainable Revolution features photographs, interviews, and essays profiling 60 thriving community-based projects in diverse climates across the planet. 60, right? Now, I'm pulling this out because, one, I've seen some of I've been hearing permaculture, right? You know, as I've been doing the research on this gardening piece, permaculture, what is it? All right, what is permaculture, right? So let me go and get something on permaculture, and let's find out what permaculture is, right? With my glasses. So the first thing we do is, of course, look up this term permaculture. And permaculture is the development of agricultural ecosystems intended to be sustainable and self-sufficient, right? Agricultural ecosystems intended to be sustainable and self-sufficient. All right. So now, let's look at some of the tenets or the ideas behind they call them the principles of permaculture by Rachel Kaplan. One of the most important things about permaculture is that it's founded on a series of principles that can be applied to any circumstances. I'm reading from page 17 of the book. Agriculture, urban design, or the art of living. The core of the principles is the working relationship and connection between all things. The focus is on a small-scale, energy and labor-efficient, intensive system that uses biological resources instead of fossil fuels. Design stress ecological connections and closed loops of energy and material. A key to efficient design is observation and the replication of natural ecosystems, or ecosystems. In the city, permacultures make much use of the synergy of human energies and works to create generative connections between people. Pioneer permaculturists Bill Mollison and David Holmgren each articulated underlying principles for permacultures. Holmgrens are outlined here. The title and connected aphorisms are Holmgren's. The descriptions are my own understanding of the principles. Although humorously stated, the principles provide simple yet profound guidance for people interested in changing their actions and their lives with an eye towards regeneration. When you begin to embody these principles in all different aspects of your life, you can begin to step toward sustainability at a whole new level. Alright? So let's look at some of these. 1. Observe and interact. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Observing nature makes it possible to design made-to-fit solutions. An example is the gardener who allows a season to pass before planting her garden, taking the time to observe the arc of the sun and the moon, the direction of the wind, the flow of the water, and the impact of neighbors on her garden. While her timing is urgent, it is more urgent to make intelligent choices within the limits of the ecological system that it is to move fast, as these more grounded choices have a better chance of sustaining life through difficult and abundant times. Within the problem lies the solution. Observing and interacting slows down the actions enough to allow us to meet a problem on its own terms and give rise to outside the box thinking. Observe and interact. That's rule number 1. Number 2, catch and store energy. Make hay while the sun shines. Develop systems that collect resources at times of peak abundance for use in times of need. A solar array catches and stores the sun energy for later use. A composting toilet, rather than flushing our excrement into the sea, composts it and turns it into fertilizer for our gardens. Contemplative practices like yoga and meditation catch personal energetic resources and store them up for another time. Y'all got it? Catch and store energy. Obtain a yield. You can't work on an empty stomach. Good work yields rewards. A garden is an excellent example. We till the soil, we sow the seeds, pull the weeds, manage the pests, harvest the food. The yield is good food, good work, beauty, and a sense of knowledge and relaxation in the environment. Children gain skills and knowledge in the garden for later production of their own food. We also see practical yields in our relationship. When we build communities in which we rely upon one another to help raise the children, the food, and the management of resources, the yield is a dynamic, interdependent relationship that we can sustain, that can sustain us throughout life and up to our deaths. So it's 12 of them. Apply self-regulation and accept feedback. The sins of the parents are visited on the children until the 7th generation. This is an important principle that encourages us to modify behaviors that do not work and enhance behaviors that support the function of the system. When you give feedback that something you're doing isn't working, don't spin off into defensiveness. Look at the feedback and integrate it to make your actions more effective. This reflects the maturation of consciousness. From adolescence to adulthood, our actions have consequences. The homeostasis of Earth as a single self-regulated system is the best example of this kind of self-regulation of feedback. Number 5, use and value renewable resources and services. Let nature take its course. Access the resources of nature to reduce excessive consumption and dependence on non-renewable sources. Solar power, wind power, intellectual power are all examples of renewable resources. Number 6, produce no waste. Waste not, want not. Nature produces no waste. Everything is food for someone. In permaculture, we value and make use of all available resources. Nature's best example of this principle is the earthworm, which lives by consuming plant waste and converting them into valuable soil. A compost pile is the garden's best example. Design from patterns to details. Can't see the woods for the trees. The patterns in society and nature can form the backbone of our design. Details arise from patterns. Consider the spider web. Each one designed to serve a specific function, yet each is unique in its location. The human body is another example of this principle. We're all built on the same model but have individual differences stemming from our experience, family life, and culture. With design solutions, as with people, one size does not fit all. Number 8, integrate rather than segregate. Many hands make light the work. Don't leave anyone behind. Put elements in the right place, and relationships of support will arise between them. In the human communities, segregation hurts everyone, but it most often places the burden of the least powerful member of the equation. Co-housing communities show how much can be accomplished when more people participate, and how much richer our human gardens are when populated by different kinds of people. The segregation of cities, and on the other hand, reflect the poverty of design and waste of human resources and potential. Another crucial concept embedded in this principle is the stacking function. Every element in a design doing more than one thing at a time. A chicken provides eggs, meat, and feathers, while she turns our kitchen scraps into nitrogen-rich fertilizer for our gardens. The chicken is popular because she does so many things at once. Some plants have stacking functions as well, offering pollination opportunities and providing food, medicine, and beauty. Built structures can have multiple functions. Greenhouses along the south side of a home access and store passive solar energy, and they are a place to both grow food and share meals. Stacking functions is an important concept at times when, like now, there simply is no more time to waste. Use small and slow solutions. Slow and steady wins the race. Small and slow systems are easier to maintain than big ones. Make better use of local resources and produce more sustainable outcomes. The snail in nature exemplar of this principle. Slow and steady, carrying its home wherever it goes. The snail is amazingly versatile and adaptable in a wide range of environments, and, as any gardener can tell you, a remarkably powerful creature. Use and value diversity. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversity provides insurance from the vagaries of nature and everyday life, reduces the vulnerability and utilizes the unique nature of its environment, and maintains and evolves culture and horticulture. Different food crops arise in different regions as an expression of cultural, aesthetic, spiritual, sentimental needs. Y'all hear that, right? The diversity brings quality and texture to living and shape the way people come to understand themselves. An aligned concept is that each function is supported by many elements, which is a fancy way of talking about plant redundancy. Different plants that have the same function provide security for one another. If any one of them fail, we still have access to the benefits of the other plants serving that function. Nature employs plant redundancies all the time. The design of our gardens and our cities should do the same. Use edges and value the marginal. Don't think you are on the right track just because it's a well-beaten path. The interface between diverse elements is where the most interesting events take place. These are often the most valuable, diverse, and productive elements in systems. Marginal subcultures are often the places where the most inventive, ingenious, and creative innovators take place. The long fight for food and environmental justice is impoverished communities of color, which predates the current urban homesteading movement by decades, is an example of this principle. Creatively use and respond to change. Vision is not seeing things as they are, but as they will be. Change is inevitable. We can have a positive impact on it by carefully observing and intervening at the right time. Evolutionary change impacts stability, while we need to create durable and natural living situations. Paradoxically, the durability we need depends on our capacity to be flexible and to change. This idea reflected in science and spirituality within the center of stillness is a vast, unending motion. We must learn to ride the rapids and change in our little paper canoes together. All right, so now the tenets of permaculture, right? I mean, So now I want to read those. We'll come back. We'll discuss some of that later. I'm gonna read some more of the book, but I wanted to share that with you so that we could put some of that on your mind at this present time, so that we will have something to talk about. Because when it comes to talking about building culture, you know what I'm saying? Because I say I am a culture builder, right? But I have to make sure that what I'm building is sustainable, right? We don't want a one generational wonder, right? We don't want to work for one generation and then watch everything fall to the wayside, because that's what happens. We haven't been building sustainably. So whether we're talking about, because remember at one point in time I was talking about the GNJMedia housing project, right? But now I'm thinking more along the lines of doing something like this, a sustainable community that we build, and we're able to sustain it, and we're able to produce almost everything that we need. And it's very possible because there's 60 other communities all over the world doing it, right? So this is Brother Tim saying peace, and I'm gonna say great Nia to you. I'm out because I'm about to read some more of these books. Peace. Thank you for watching the video. I want you to subscribe. Click the bird right there, the fiery bird. And I also have a special video just for you right there. And for those that want more information about Gianni Journey, go to our site. It should be right about there. Peace. Alright, I got to finish up my water consumption. I'm too shy. And I got to finish my health drink. Alright, there is no smoothies this morning, no breakfast this morning. It's just us, back to the old school, right? So I hope to see you at the show. I want to talk about what I learned about the third industrial revolution, and I want to share some of that information with you. So see you at the show. What's up, fam? As y'all can see, I got all my weight back and then some. My body is adjusting. You know, for those that don't know, I did a fast, 21-day fast. And for those, my body is adjusting, so now it's preparing for the next fast. So it's like, I'm gonna eat up everything, all right? So I gotta get back on my intermittent fasting. Today probably be the last day. I'll probably indulge in breakfast for a little while. On my calendar for this month, is this my calendar for this month?
I have my fast days laid out. You can do the same thing. I send it to you as a JPEG, or I can send it to you as a PDF. But I got my fast on this one already recognized. I am fasting on Kuji Chagalia, and also I'm fasting for the solar eclipse that will be coming. Of course, I'm gonna fast when the equinox come around as well, prepare my body for the coming fall, and then we will also do a fast for the solstice in the wintertime, right? I don't know how long. I know how long the one for the solstice would be. I haven't decided how long the one for the equinox is gonna be, right? And how intense I'm gonna make it. And the winter solstice, I haven't decided on that one either. But we got time for that, right? Getting ourselves ready, right? Those of y'all that's been watching, y'all know I've been getting into the books, not just in audio books, but I discovered the joy of the library, the power of being able just to go down to the library and request books. I've been requesting books like crazy, right? And one that I am engrossed with right now is New Self, New World. Kind of covered this one yesterday, even though I ain't post up the video that I was doing for YouTube. I figured the one that I did for Facebook would be enough, right? And I think I might start doing that on the weekends, just do one video for the weekends, and so I could get it done, because it takes a lot of time for me to cut both of them up, and I ain't really cutting them up, but to record them takes a lot of time. But the book that I'm engrossed in is New Self, New World, Recovering Our Sense in the 21st Century. And this one is the one that's talking about how in Western culture we're robbing ourselves by just living in our head and not really feeling what we are. And what I found interesting about this book is that this book, at least in the beginning chapters where I'm at, is pulling heavily on Joseph Campbell. So I kind of decided I would throw this one to the side and pull out Here with a Thousand Faces. But this one, what makes it powerful is this one has a whole list of exercises that you can use to help move you to another level in your life, right? So I'm gonna be pulling some stuff out of here. We're gonna work with it. The light you see in the background is me uploading a video. Since I'm sitting here, I'm gonna upload this video. So give me a second, fam. All right, so I'm back. So I want to give you an example of how we have been programmed over the last couple of thousand years with the advent of Western civilization, how we have been taught to focus on existence through the head, existence through the mind. So this is coming from Marcus Aurelius. So kind of get you into where I'm coming at, because we're living life through our heads, right? Because we feel that the head is supreme and it should be running everything, rather than all of it working together. And this is one of the crippling factors of Western civilization. And this is Marcus Aurelius, book 2, second verse, I guess. What am I but a little flesh, a little breath, and the thinking part that rules the whole? Forget your books. They aren't any part of you. And as someone who is dying, you should disregard the flesh as well. It is nothing but blood and bones, and a network of muscle tissues, nerves and arteries, breath. What is that? A puff of wind that is never the same, being sucked in one moment and blown out the next, that leaves the thinking part, the part meant to rule.
Now that you are old, it is time you stop allowing it to be enslaved, jerked about by every selfish whim, grumbling at the present lot one moment and bemoaning the future the next. Right? So we got to get out of our head and work towards getting into our body, right? So now, the piece that I really wanted to talk with you about, right, was I was going through, I'm a big, I love YouTube, so I'm able to pull down classes on everything, right? I'm looking at self-defense, I'm looking at folk tales, I'm looking at Dragon Ball Super, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at lectures. And one of the lectures that really got my attention was one by a guy by the name of Jeremy Rifkin, right? And he was giving a speech, and one of the things that he pointed out was that we are moving into a third industrial revolution, right? And for the first time, I actually heard somebody able to describe not only what we was moving in, right, but how to take advantage of it. But first, he started off with a very dire warning about how, as a society, we are in denial of the fact that we are causing climate change at a rapid pace because of the second industrial revolution and the stuff that we're using from the first and the second industrial revolution to kind of speed up the process of the earth's making a change, and how we are leaving, in a sense, dust for our children to inherit from us, how we are robbing them of the future possibility of being able to even breathe good air. You know what I'm saying? And I'm listening to what he was saying. I was like, wow. Hold on, it's gonna talk for a second. That's some bull crap. Woo, yeah, all right. So, I'm talking about the three industrial revolutions. And he says that it's certain concepts that line up for every revolution that happened, right? And we're moving into a totally new era. Era of cheap, not just cheap energy, but a new era of free energy. And it's going to come with a whole lot of problems, because there's going to be a bunch of jobs created, right? But I foresee that there's going to come a point in time that after all the retrofitting for the buildings, after all the solar panels have been built, after all of the wind turbines and whatever they're going to do with the ocean is going to happen, it's going to come a point in time where there will be no more work, right? So we got to really start talking about the future work. This is why I keep on stressing that it's important for us to teach our children to think rather than what to think, because we're moving into a space where we are going to have to reconsider capitalism. We're going to have to reconsider the way we have thought about capital and the way that we have thought about labor. We'll have to readjust those. We're going to need thinking people to do this, right? Because the major thing that we use for our comfort, like this light here, right, will no longer be a burden to get. It will no longer, after the infrastructure is basically laid down, this is going to be totally free, right? Because I'm probably have solar panels on my house, and actually solar panels are getting so good at producing energy that I am going to be able to sell back my surplus energy to the general society, and they're going to be able to transport that energy all over the world, right? So we're moving into a time where the major thing that we used to work for, you know what I'm saying, we now have it working for us. And now we not only got it working for us, but now it's for free. So we're gonna have a lot of we're gonna have some new paradigms that the young people in the world gonna have to deal with. All right. So the first industrial revolution was steam and coal. Steam engine, communications and transportation, and it was transportation, communication, and I guess just energy production. So communication, transportation, and energy production all lined up with this with the first industrial revolution with the steam and the coal, right? And all these things were able to improve. And when these three things improved, boom, the industrial revolution happened. Then we had the second industrial revolution with the centralized electricity and oil, right? So we moved from just the steam engine to the internal combustion engine and cars and being able to move faster. And central electricity made it even easier for us to communicate, you know, with the advent of the electricity lines, and then the advent of the phones, right? And then the production of new energy. So we had communication, transportation, and energy production all line up, and boom, we had a whole nother industrial revolution, right? We're able now not only just to move large amounts of stuff over rail, we're able to move it over rail faster. We're able to move it with trucks. We're able to move it with planes, because we could take the combustible engine and apply that science and make planes, right? So now, what Jeremy Rifkin is talking about is that we're moving into the third industrial revolution, the 21st century, digital technology infrastructure, right? Across the world, renewable energy, and emerging shared transportation, right? So he's predicting that the energy production, communication, and transportation are all going through a major shift. And he believes that because, just like the previous two, from his studies, the previous two revolutions took place when communication, transportation, and energy production changed. So he's saying that we're moving into the third industrial revolution because the renewable energy, we got a whole new energy source, you know what I'm saying, it's coming online. And what he predicts is that for a while it's going to take a long time for us to start refitting the buildings, because we ain't gonna be able to tear all the buildings down. We're gonna need to refit the buildings, because the way the energy is being produced now is gonna be produced with the buildings, right? The paint, the windows, all these buildings are gonna turn from just big monuments to nothingness, to basically energy generation plants. Incredible, right? Yeah, I know you shaking your head like, what? Right? Because they're gonna retrofit the buildings, because now you got the solar energy able to be produced from paint to the massive windows that's in these buildings. You know what I'm saying? Boom, it's changing, right? So I would love to hear your thoughts on some of this, man, because it's like I'm hearing this and it brings such hope. But then again, we're moving into a dangerous time where you got the world's shifting, but we got the old guard. Like, nah, we can't shift. This is uncomfortable. See, because when you start talking about digital tech infrastructure across the globe, right? This is what people, this is globalization. This is what a lot of people fear, right? You're going to get rid of my sovereignty. And you got to have my sovereignty, right? And the individual, right? This gets to the whole change of the mind state. The individual doesn't reign supreme in this type of world order, right? The individual is still important, right? But the individual has to, in a sense, for lack of a better term, bow to the needs of the many, right? The group, right? Which is basically getting back to the whole tribal piece, and the tribal piece moving from the individual tribes to tribes being able to work together. Now, my quest as an African man is to make sure that my tribe is able to get its due, right? Because my only fear right now is that many African countries are just now getting into the second industrial revolution. They might still be building electric power plants when we need to jump right over that and get to building the solar energy piece. We got constant wind coming off the ocean. We got one of the largest coastlines in the world. You know what I'm saying? Well, we could be catching the wind off the ocean all of the time. We also have tropical regions where the sun is constantly kissing, right? I mean, just from the lands that I saw when I was traveling through Ghana, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a abundant amount of electrical energy that's going to be able to be generated in some of those open spaces and on some of those hills in Ghana. And I hope that the leadership over there is at least going to be able to keep up with what's going on with this whole digital tech infrastructure, and start building and start utilizing the resources for renewable energies over there. Just like, because in Africa, one of the things that I noticed is that they're jumping over the phone line issue that a lot of us grew up with. Where everybody had a home phone, and you had the cord and you had to walk through the house. They're jumping right over that and getting straight into the digital phone piece. But I hope they do the same thing with jumping over the individual, instead of the centralized electrical piece, that they start moving to the decentralized energy generation. Because now this is what's important that a lot of us got to understand. Some of us got to start really looking at the technology, because now it's not going to be centralized energy that's going to be produced. You're going to have many individuals producing energy. So like I said, on some of y'all property, y'all going to have to be putting electric generators, solar energy, so that you can produce. Some of us going to have windmills. It's going to be producing energy, and it's going to be so efficient and so powerful that we're going to produce more energy than we need, and we're going to be able to have a second income, because we're going to be able to sell the energy back. So some of the technology that we need to look at is energy management systems, right? We need to get our kids' minds to where they're going to be able to manage some of this energy, and being able to plug back, set up programs so that we be able to get on our little smartphone and be like, well, damn, I got a lot of energy stored up, so I need to go and cash in some of this energy so that I can get these new shoes. Right? Trade energy for shoes. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you right now, Amazon gonna be on it, so you're gonna be able to, I got a couple of kilowatts. Bloop. Right? So I just wanted to share that. Just some thoughts about that, right? So, let's keep it. Let's get a discussion started or whatever. And I thank y'all for joining. And this is Brother Tim, and I'm out. I'm sitting up here trying to. Thank you for watching the video. I want you to subscribe. Click the bird right there, the fiery bird. And I also have a special video just for you, right there. And for those that want more information about Jamie Journey, go to our site. It should be right about there. Peace. Peace, fam. Hey, make sure you join us, because today we're going to be talking about the call and what happened when you refuse the call. All right, so stay tuned for the journey. I'm out. With the 21-day challenge, filling it in. Actually, we're moving into the 42. We're moving towards a 42-day challenge, fam. Listen. So, I'm struggling through this. Well, actually, it's not. Well, actually, this part hasn't been a struggle. Actually, the fast was a little bit of a struggle towards the end, but this one really has not been too much of a struggle. I've been able to kind of lay down a habit. The 21-day challenge can be used by you to increase something or to decrease something. Like I have a habit that I had to get over. I use a 21-day challenge to do it. I wanted to fast. Use a 21-day challenge to do that. You could use it to increase your information. Like you could use a 21-day challenge to study a certain subject every day for 21 days. You know what I'm saying? So every day I have to force myself to open up a folktale book, read a folktale. I got to think about a proverb every day, and then on top of that, I got exercises I have to do and stuff like that. So it keeps me in a system. And you know, practicing life care is the proper the process of harnessing and directing our shade in our life by the systematic use of life-giving principles. So by us learning how to develop systems within our lives, we protect ourselves, right? So now, let's get to what we are supposed to talk about today. For those that are in Columbus, once again, I want to announce Brother Wakase is coming back. Injected racial scripts on August 11th at Millennium Community School, 3500 Refugee Road. For those who want some more information, hit us up at 614-783-7566. The NIA, or August 11th, 7 p.m., that one is free. All right, family. But the class on Kaumba, August 12th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It costs $99. The whole thing is from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We could work a half day for you or something like that, and we could work it all the way out for you. The only thing I'm saying is take some time, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, right? Learn about you. Invest in you. All right. Now, so I'm in this book, and I'm in. Y'all see my bag. Y'all see my books, right? I'm doing the books. I'm in research mode. I gotta get myself ready for my kids. Some incredible stuff is going down for Brother Hatim. I did the fast, and some incredible stuff is going down for Brother Hatim. And what's crazy is, family, listen, it's both good, sometimes good and good, sometimes it's bad, right? See, and a lot of times, many of us miss our blessings because we get so upset about the things that aren't going the way that we want them to go, that we just totally give up. We just totally lose our mind. We just totally lose our focus because one little thing goes a little bit wrong, and next thing you know, we falling apart, right? But we got to, and as George Bush said, we got to stay the course, right? Stay the course. Now, so one of the major pieces that I'm looking at, once again, I look at this, it's sort of like me watching Godfather once a year, or Spook Who Sat by the Door. There's certain things that I like to revisit, and I'm revisiting Joseph Campbell's The Hero of a Thousand Faces, right? And one of the reasons I'm doing it, because whether you know it or not, Joseph Campbell, especially for the self-development field, is an often quoted individual, especially when people start talking about the hero's journey, right? There's almost no way that you could talk about self-development and not really talk about the hero's journey, the path of the hero, right? Because the hero was someone who basically self-developed themselves, somebody who took the time to invest in themselves. And in fact, the hero is the ultimate, the hero's path is the ultimate self-development piece. Why? Because the hero has to step outside himself in order to grow. Or let me say this, the hero has to step not just outside himself, right? The hero has to step outside his comfort zone, not just for himself, but for others as well, right? It can start off as a selfish journey, but it always ends up with the hero bringing back something for everybody, right? This is the true hero's journey, right? So today we're talking about the call. And what's the call? My elder, one of my elders, Baba and Reba Kelsey, right? Baba used to tell us about the term vocation. You know, he really got me looking into Latin and Greek, you know, looking at the definition of words. He said vocation, voca, right? Even in Spanish, boca, mouth. I think boca means mouth, but voca means call, right? To call, right? And it comes from, you know what I'm saying, individuals, certain individuals on their life, there's a calling, right? It's like, and all of us, there's a call out there for us, and we hear it, and in some form or fashion, we have to answer it, right? Or we're supposed to answer it. Now, bad things start to happen when we don't answer it. I'm gonna go through some of the bad stuff that happens when we don't answer the call, right? But the call goes out, and the call basically helps us to identify what it is we're supposed to bring to the world. It reminds us, right? It's sort of like the universe reminding us about who and what we're supposed to bring to this planet.
Just keep your head to the sky. Just keep